Hello and welcome back to the video lectures on inventory models. We will continue our discussion on EOQ model with planned shortages in this video. In the previous video, I developed mathematical model when we allow shortages into our EOQ model, and this model gave us this inventory policy which tells us what should be the inventory level just after the Q units arrive at the premises of the company. Then the order quantity or the number of units that must be ordered every time the company places an order. And finally, the time interval between the subsequent replenishment of orders. So let us have an intuition into the mathematical model that we developed in the previous video. These are the number of units or inventory level just after a batch of Q units is arrived, and Q minus S is the maximum shortage allowed for the total cost to be minimum, as we are using the Q star and S star. And on this graph, Q star minus S star, or Q minus S in general, refers to that value which is the maximum number of shortage units allowed in a particular cycle. And hence, if you substitute the values of Q star and S star from the previous video, then we get this as the maximum number of shortage units allowed. We can also find out the fraction of the time in a cycle for which there was no shortage in the cycle. So in the previous video, we saw that this is the first cycle, which is simply the time duration between the two subsequent replenishment. This was the second cycle, and so on. So we divided a cycle into two portions. First portion was the green portion, during which there was positive inventory, and the second portion was the purple portion, during which there was shortage. And if you look at the time axis, then on the time axis we know that this is the time period of one cycle, which is Q by D, and then this is the time period 0 to S by D, for which there was no shortage. So this is how I can find out the fraction of the time in a cycle for which there was no shortage, and which is simply P divided by P plus H. So you can just pause the video, substitute the values of S star and Q star in this ratio, and verify whether this ratio is correct or not. So let us see what happens to our formulas when the shortage cost P increases considerably by keeping the inventory cost H or storage cost H constant. So what happens to maximum allowed storage? If you look at the formula of maximum storage, it is the product of those two terms, and P appears in this second term. So P appears in the denominator of this second term, and as P increases, the this second term decreases, and finally the maximum shortage approaches this value. Okay, so this means that as the shortage cost increases considerably, the maximum shortage cost approaches the economic order quantity. This was the formula of economic order quantity. Then the other two formulas are for economic order quantity and the time interval between two subsequent replenishments. Again, the shortage cost appears in the denominator of both of these formulas, and as the shortage cost increases considerably, both of these terms in both of those formulas decreases, and that means the value of Q approaches this term and the value of T approaches that term, and these were the terms in the previous model when we did not allow the shortages. In the conclusion, even though we allow the shortages to occur in this model suggests that if the shortage cost increases considerably, having shortages is not advised or feasible. Let us solve an example based on this model, and we will again consider the same example that we saw in the very first video of this unit. In that example, there was the manufacturer of TV sets, and this manufacturer also produced the speakers required for the TV sets. The manufacturer was confronted with the problem of how many speakers the manufacturer should produce and after how much amount of time. This is the only difference, that now we allow the shortages to occur, or the manufacturer believes that the shortages can be allowed, and every time the shortage occurs, the manufacturer has to pay a shortage cost of P is equals to $1.1 per speaker short per month. And those were the other parameters given in the model. Capital K indicated the setup cost of production of speakers, H indicated the storage cost of speaker, and D indicated the demanded of the speakers, which is 8,000 speakers per month. If you substitute those parameters into the formulas of S, Q and T, then we get S as 22,424 units. You can just pause this video and then calculate S. Similarly, Q star comes out to be 28,540 units and T star comes out to be 3.6 months. And this values indicate that the manufacturer should produce 28,540 units every time he sets up the production of speakers, and the manufacturer should set up the production of speakers every 3.6 months. Finally, we can also calculate the maximum number of speakers that can be back order, or maximum shortage of the speakers allowed, by finding out the subtraction of Q star minus S star, which comes out to be 6,000 something units. So this was the UQ model with planned shortages, and we can compare these values with the values that we obtained for the same example using the basic UQ model, and you can find that there is no much difference between the values, because the shortage cost is significantly different than the storage cost, which is 0.3. Next, we see what happens to this model if the discounts are given by the supplier based upon the quantity purchased by the manufacturer. So see you in the next video.